And welcome back to Opally Hour, and today we are on day 4 of our Molly Garden build, and this is where we got to, so I think it looks rather beautiful. So there is a kind of a problem with the lights. I mean, it's, if I can find the switch, it does come on. I think the batteries are pretty crap. Maybe it's because I bought pretty cheap ones. So they sometimes stay on and sometimes don't. So it could be a loose wire. What I'll do is I've already thrown out one battery. I will see if it's just the make. Maybe it's just a crappy make. I mean, they're pretty reasonable, so that could be why. But like you see, they stay on for a second and then they're like, no, we don't want to play no more. Anyway, let's get on with today. So my aim, so much for doing a 4-day build, is to get this side totally finished today, or as much as possible. It doesn't have this door going in, so we're going to work on the shelf on the back here first. We have a bench to put in, we have a couple of flower pots as well, so we're going to get those started. So let's put you to one side, my friend, and we will start with our little bench that you saw yesterday. So we are going to need all these pieces, and we are going to need this piece, and we're going to need our bench. It does have staining on there, so I'm going to use this as my top part. And first things first, we are going to put this on, and it wants it going at an angle. I don't know what's with this and these angles, so let's get that going. So you need about, does it tell you how much? Not really. Oh, yes it does. Okay. It's got a really weird description of here. So it wants you to cut through about 2.3 centimetres, about 1, 2, 3, 2.3 is probably a bit bigger than I need, so get rid of that. And then it wants a certain amount of it, which we are going to use for this. So you want the patterns in here. And we won't be using this piece. Didn't go all the way through. Bear with me, puppy's irritating my son's dogs. Okay, sorry about that. It's Monday, so they haven't seen each other all weekend, so my puppy's like, wee! Happiness. So a little bit of glue on the top here, and going down the side, because they have a thing about doing everything on angles. I don't even have my greaseproof paper up. What am I thinking? Okay, well, let's get that going. So basically, as I drop it, what you're looking for is it to kind of go over like so. They have a thing about angles, like I say. Probably doesn't matter because this is going to go at the back, whether you've got a little bit over at the back or not. But you kind of want it sticking down at the front. However, we will cut some of this off. It's rather excessive, isn't it? Not going to cut it all the way. I'm going to have some still drapes over. Right. Okay. Then we are going to, once it allows me to go, some greaseproof paper. Now I'll behave myself and get some paper before I come here. So we are going to do a picture. If I can pick it up, if I can even pick it up with the tweezers. Let's do this first. Gosh. And we're also going to fold this in half, stick it, and then cut it out. So that can be done with beacon. And we have some books which all we're going to do is fold them here, one on one side and one on the other. Again, it's a detail, a shame really, because they've got some quite pretty designs on these, but you're not really going to see them. I like the start of a day. I don't have hardly any tools out, and as the day goes on I seem to end up with more and more. Right, okay, so we'll put this in first. So it's got like a different heights of the books. If I could pick it up would be really good. Come here. Still got little purple flowers on there as well. My goodness. It doesn't want to do anything I want it to do. Okay. So we're going to stick that on here along with the pictures, both the pictures. So you can go to one side a moment. Let's get this going. So I'm just going to use Beacon because I'm going to use Beacon for this one anyway. So I'm just going to use Beacon for the other one at the same time. Assuming it's going to come out. Yeah, there we go. And we get those two going. Good press down. Then we'll put the frame on the way up on our little picture here. You know, just like that. Good to see it lined up so well. Could have it at an angle, couldn't we, to be different. Break all the rules of these pictures. Like that. And then we will put on our books. We'll put this picture on, which you end up hardly seeing these books by the time this is finished. There's actually quite a lot of stuff that goes on for a very small area. So we're also going to want this little tiny screw going on there. So we have our books in this corner. See if the B7000 can behave. And have the picture right next to it, and then we're going to have the screw sitting there. So let's start with the books. They really are quite they're like bouncing all over the place. Okay, something like so. And then this one. Is it a right way or a wrong way? I believe it or not there is. So I'm going to have a look in what you're seeing and see if I could tell. Well, I don't know that I can. So it's going to go on here. You know, if these books end up being my biggest downfall of this whole thing, it'd be really funny. A tiny piece of paper and then the screw on here, which looks like nothing, but we're going to make it into something. And then that big picture goes on the end, and of course we're going to add some green to it. You wouldn't expect anything different, would you? And so our bead has two ends, of which I'm trying to put the tweezers in the end of one to pick it up, and the other end is going to go in here like so. All we have to do is let it go. Of course, you don't have to make it on the bookshelf, you can make it separately and attach it afterwards, like so. kind of looking okay, a bit crooked. Very crooked. But that's the way it went in. My goodness, books. Okay, and then let's cut this out. And this is going to go on the other side. And we can get that going and put that on. Then we have a bench to make, and I have done some colouring on the bench because it's got white. It's a white bench, but it has white ends, but the seat was cream, but the end of it was the wood colour. It's just plain wood, so I've kind of done a little bit of white on it, just so it's going to mould in with the ends and everything. And then our picture goes on here, like so. And then we're going to add some green to that, but I'm going to let all this dry for a moment first, or at least take. Unfortunately, this is a little bit crooked, but I think we'll be okay. Okay. And then we're going to be putting on some of this and some of this. Not much, in fact we could probably do that, and then we can maybe even put this in place actually, hindsight. Okay, so it wants a tiny bit of green going up the books, my books, and down to here across our picture. And I'm going to use a tiny bit because otherwise you're not going to see what we put on there. And followed by a couple of pink, basically roses. So let me choose this little piece here. And you want it kind of going up the books. So something like so. On you go. It's kind of something like that, and then it's going to have a couple of pink flowers. So I get rid of that. And what you want to do, maybe, cut the ends off and give them a good squidge to make them a bit look like roses. So you've got like a couple of roses here. I'm not used to just plonk them on, and I saw someone do this and it was like, oh, that's a good idea. Assuming one has enough patience for it. Okay, and just put them over here. I can pick them up again. So it ends up something like so. Right, let's get our house back. And this one's going to go in front of this other window, and there is markings down here. If you remember, yesterday we pushed this one over more, so it actually even showed. And we're going to get this one close to this window. So I'm not going to fully use the markers, I'm going to get it a bit closer so you can see it through the window. Otherwise you just don't. Sorry, knocking the camera. I had it. Honestly, I'm actually quite happy with how that looks. Good times. So the important thing is to make sure it's not going to interfere with the back plate when we put on, which we're getting close to doing now. And the back plate just sits on top of here, so Let's see what we can see. That's not terrible, is it? At least you can see it. Alright, so let's put that to one side. We'll work on the bench. We're just going to need all that green stuff all over again. But in the meantime, and this I'm probably going to super glue. You don't need that. I'm not even sure why that's there. Okay, so you can see that I've painted it white on an edge here and here because everything else is white on this thing. So we want the back like so, and these are going to be the legs. So I am actually going to use some super glue for this. Yeah, just find. So I'm going to put a bit of super glue on the side because it'd be too much. Get the lid on this for starters before it dries up like yesterday and then we end up with that catastrophe. Right, so let's put a bit of super glue on here. If you don't know, this is the super glue that was over from, well, it's being used on the Disney Doll's house. It isn't, the Snoopy build. And then just put that on the back. Evenly, hopefully. I don't think all the ends are even. But it's been one of those things you're not going to see a lot of. Well, it's also the super glue that I'm not so sure is any good. I should just get my other normal stuff out. But I have tons of different glues that I hardly ever use. You'd have thought it would have taken by now, wouldn't you? Don't put your hand in it, woman. Okay, let's do it this way then. Right, let's leave that for a second. And then we'll put the legs on. In fact, can I get the legs on? Well, you want the slanty one going towards the back, so probably not. Let's give that a moment. In the meantime, I have to cut out a card that is going to sit on the bench. So let me get that cut out. Most of the cutting stuff I try and do off camera, by the way, but every now and then. It's like child scissors, I swear, except they have pointy ends. This is going to sit on the bench along with a piece of the same lace we were just messing with. So you can use the ruler if you like, or you can eyeball it. So you don't want it stuck together, it's going to kind of sit on the seat, because that's what you do. And we will be needing our green again, and we'll also be needing our pink again, and we will be needing this. So again, what we want is several basically little strands of the bits at the bottom here. I don't have that on that piece. I'm trying to look at my spare pieces to see if I've got them. So we don't want all the bottom at all. We just want this piece here. And it's kind of up to you how you do it. They have like 3 tiny pieces put together, traipsing it over the seat, but you could also fold it like so. Or I think I'm just going to cut mine in half. And that will go on the seat in a moment. And then on top of that will be the flowers, because it seems that people aren't allowed to sit on these benches. It's only allowed for flowers. Okay. So before we put the legs on, now we put the legs on. Just being a chicken. I still do have some. That's one. It's definitely wet, my fingers are sticking together now. And make sure it's got the slanty towards the back. I'm not going to put this, let me hit the camera, sorry. I'm not going to put this straight on the model, by the way. We're going to do the pots of flowers that we need to do. Okay, give that a moment. Okay, that only took a second. Give me enough time to pick up the paper. And then we're going to put our picture in here and our lace. So the picture stands up against the back of the, not the back, but kind of on the corner, almost like it's a cushion. Like so. And our lacy pieces go like that, just like that. Where it didn't do anything at all. Oh, my chair just fell apart. What do you know? Everything came apart. We'll sort that out in a second. Right, B7000, it will be on the side. So even super glue doesn't work well for me. It's probably because it's a Snoopy house, so it's nothing to do with this. And it's probably like, I don't want to be used on this. I'm a snob. I have to go at the Snoopy house. How dare you use me on something else? Like so. Then we will put on a little bit of green on the chair because it lives on the chair. Let's make sure that stays. And followed by a little bit of the pink, like roses. Get that on there, and then I'll put the lid on. And I would say my B7000 is running out, but you know, when I did that on a few models ago, it kept going and going, so I'm not going to say a thing. Well, I just did, but yeah, I'm not going to predict. Okay, so again, I'm going to take a couple of these roses or flowers and try and make them look like roses. So chop off the end and squish them together. Which didn't work as well as that first time, did it? Alright, sorry about that. And then just take that off and put that in the glue that's been sitting there drying. and this is going to go on the front when I catch it of where the house is. So that looks kind of cute, doesn't it? What do you think? I mean, that would be a bench. You'd be fighting for somewhere to sit, but you know, it's quite cute. That picture could have done with going back and around more. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to move it. Maybe. Okay, a bit more like that. And that will sit, and I'm not going to place it in yet, but it is actually going to sit in here, like so. But let's let this dry for a bit. And the next thing is for us to do is some flower pots, so we'll be getting all that ready. I will be back. I have to go out, and I will be back, and we will carry on, which will be a moment for you. Okay, so this dried very well. So what we've got left is a couple of plants in here, 3 to be precise. So the first one is just in this one here, and it's just a piece of this green to go in the middle of it. So let's just cut a piece of this off, and I can get some out. Just needs a little bit, doesn't need a lot. That's a nice little piece there. Just go on here, and it can go. Whew, toasty. Alright, it needs to go in this little one here. If we can get more than one in, all the good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little B7000 in the top. Doesn't need a lot. I'm going to put this little one in first. It's got a little stem here. Oops, got shakes. Never good when you're trying to do small things. Could have used the other end actually. Let me do that. It's got a longer stem. Okay, and then a longer piece. If we can get it in there. Maybe take the bottom couple of pieces off. Make it a bit easier to thread. There we go. Come on, back you come. Ah, can't pick it up for the life of me. Okay. Alright, so that one's done. Nothing else to do to that one. It's a very plain one. This one we need to do a little bit of work to. The bit that I'm not looking forward to the most is these 3 little triangles pieces here that I will do in a second. But we also need to put this little sticker on the outside of this pot, which is where those little pieces of paper are going to go. So just a tiny bit. Turned itself around, caught some green in the process. Need you guys out of the way. Might need to get some other tweezers. Thought they'd be okay, but don't know so much. Okay, I think that's probably upside down. So it will be going on the model this way up. And it's going to have 3 cones. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, good intentions or not, my cones never look like cones. But we need to put 3 in here, and this looks the most unstraightest I've put on a label. having trouble picking things up. So it goes something like so. I'm guessing that's the right way up. I couldn't swear to it one way or another. Go something like that. So let's put that to one side for the moment, along with our little green plant. This one's for a very different thing. In fact, we could get this one started. So remember the fluff stuff I told you to hold it on to? That's what we're going to be using. So you want to take your little stick here, which is just one of the stems from them. And first of all, I'm going to put them in the dark green, I think. So you double dip. So anyone told you not to double dip? In this particular case, you are double dipping. So you want to make sure that you have enough glue to get it all the way around and for it to stick. And then we're going to give that a moment to take, and we are going to do it again, but I think we'll do it in the light green next. So just dip it in here. Make sure it gets it all, and we will leave that for a moment to dry. Then we'll come back and try and put some in the light green. Right, really I'm just trying to put off doing these cones, obviously. You can tell this, can't you? Okay, so we have 3 to make. Like I say, I've really not had an awful lot of success on making them in the past. So first of all, we need to basically, this is kind of going to be our cone, so we want to roll it over. So this is our point, I guess. I hate doing these. I think I'm getting further and further away from you. Maybe I could do it with this side, not the pointy side. I'm sure I am doing it right. I don't know so much. Okay, let's see. They have the point facing downwards. I think the point is our point. Okay. So it's going to go something like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all 3 geared up with a little bit of green in them. Let that dry for a minute. So point side down, like so. Point side down. Get some of this green ready to go. I got more. Obviously I got quite a bit more. So you don't need a lot of this, you need actually quite a little. So it's quite a nice sprig over here. So basically you are going to put it in our cone. No, I thought that was a nice one, now I'm not so sure. This one's probably a better one. I'm going to put it in here like this, and I'm going to give that a moment to dry. You want it showing at the top, and I'm going to use beacon for this. Should probably use tacky. Less spready and all that. And less stringy. we want to do that to all three, and then try and roll them into a cone. See, I don't think it has enough green on the top really, not compared to their picture, but anyway, maybe I could put a bit more green in it. Where did that just go? There it is. Because we're also going to have flowers on there as well. Right, let's get the other two with glue on, and then we'll get them rolling. Maybe. Nice. Gosh. Oh, come on. It's because I'm trying to be all gentle. It's not working for me. There, get another set of tweezers. Right, so let's see. Oh my goodness. Maybe this was not the best glue for the job. So you want them sticking out the top. Assuming this is going to be the top. Okay, let me get and do that. Otherwise, I'm going to spend all the video on me doing some of these. I'll come back to you when I'm ready to twirl them. All right. I'm resorting to tacky and stick. Oh, hope you didn't mind that trip a little. So I'm just going to put some on here. That's probably enough for all of them. And we are going to twirl them, hopefully. Hopefully, as I say. Whenever I see anyone doing these, they make it look so simple. I need to go into skills for cone making. Oh, maybe almost there. My puppy's complaining. I think it's because it's hot. Doesn't look anything like a bloody cone. Okay, this is going to be, if it looks like a cone, we're going to be impressed, right? Well, one, I need this bottom piece to be the part that's going to look like a cone anyway. I just don't have the skill set for this particular thing. Alright, let me put it under my eyes, see if I can get it going. Alright, that's the best I'm going to do. I put a dab of glue on the end. I mean, it's not 100% like a cone, but it's probably as close as I'm going to get. Not terrible. Let's see if I can repeat it. It's a whole nother story. Alright, let me get the other two so I need them underneath my face. Right, and then we end up with 3, right? Easy. Couldn't say it was any easier. Anyway, those 3 then need to go in here. So I've got the tacky out, so I will continue using it. And then we can put some flowers on it. It's probably the shock horror, but I know you could think this weird, but it's probably the best cones that I've done. It's almost looking like a cone. Should go to flower arranging courses for how to roll a cone, huh? I don't even necessarily think if it was much bigger I'd be able to do it, but those are in, give or take. I guess we should have a bigger one towards the back, like that one. I think it's a slightly bigger cone, if I can get it in now, because the others already want to stick. So something like that. Let's give that a moment to dry, and in the meantime we will dunk our little flower here in the lighter green. So let's get my B7000 again. I don't remember, if I ever have a tug of war with the B7000, it means that the cap's got stuck and I'm going to end up with glue everywhere. Alright, and hey, you go. Don't need the big ones. And then I think dip it in the dark one for a little bit of good measure. And then we will trim it up. It's just got a bit of both on it. Kind of looks right, doesn't it? You want it kind of almost in a round ball on the top here. It's a very small plant. We'll be cutting it to size. Okay, so something like so, other than the big strand over here. Alright, so let's go back to our flower pot, and what we're going to do is add some blue and some pink to it. You need to go in a little more. Okay, so let's get my blue. This might be all we do, but if we could finish that one side, this will be brilliant. So according to the thing, it's 1 blue and 2 pink. So let's drop in our tacky. These pinks. That's a nice one. Just need a tiny bit really. And that one. Both of those are probably a little big, but we're going to go with them because it might hide the mess of the cones. And this is called a bunch of flowers. Go back in there, you beast. So kind of something like so. It is not perfect. That blue one wants to escape. It's like I'm the only blue one. Give more blue. I mean, the good news is you can't really see the cones, so from that point of view it's good. And that's what we have. So I'm going to give this a moment to dry, and then we will put these 3 on our model and a sign. Now this sign isn't the one I want to tell you about, but nevertheless it did get broken, taken out of the form, so do again go careful. But we're going to put that on as well, and then this will finish this whole side. I don't think there's anything left to do to it. We're not putting a door in. I was hoping that we were, but we're really not. And that will be that. So I will be back in a moment when it's had a chance to dry. Alright, these have had time to dry. So I did put one more coat of this on, and we need to put it through this bead, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to cut it after the event of it being through there. Actually, I might cut it before, because I think I tried that once before and it didn't quite cut flat and it was annoying. So let's see. So it's not to be a long stem at all, so it's actually quite a short one. So it wants it to about there-ish. So maybe something like, whoops, not that. Maybe something like that. I put the tree out the way. So I gave it a trim, as you can see. And that should be fine, and we can put this, we'll put this straight in to our display. Move out the way, everybody. Okay, so we are going to add our little tree first. Bless it. I was going to cover up my little purple flowers. How rude. I wish I'd put on purple ones here. I think I probably will. Some purple flowers showing down the bottom there. Well, came out. That's kind of okay. Let's try that again then. There we go. Right, and then we are going to put our bench in next. So let's put a little bit of glue on here. Quite happy with how the bench turned out, really. Let's put these tweezers for cleaning too. Then they want to attach to everything. Just another pair. So I stabbed myself with them. Okay. So it's kind of gone by my tree here, which is rather unfortunate because I really like my little tree. Oh, now my tree's fallen over. It's not fallen out the pot. Thought it had for a second, but it has not. Okay, and then this little one goes next to it here. And the bunch of flowers go on here, and I'm going to give that a moment, and we will attach after that to our sign. Like so. Maybe a bit further in. Like that. Now a little bunch of flowers in the cones, the lovely cones. And now all we've got left to do is put this signpost on. So it needs to be at what point? So this is kind of one of the last things that they do. So it's right at the top here, up here, and I want to get those little purple beads down the bottom there into that far corner as well. So this glue needs actually sorting. So I'm going to pop the lid on, but I'm not going to fully put it on. So let's see if I can find any, whoops, I'm knocking things over, purple ones in my little drawer that I've been using. Got a few. So let's pop some on here. Like so. Round and about, and then we'll put this sign. Like I say, just go careful. I did mend mine. It came out as being cocky. After me saying how delicate these pieces are, it ended up not wanting to be quite so delicate, and it goes the opposite way to what I wanted to put it. Is that right? Kind of sticks in, gosh, like so. Like this, and that's it. So that's what we'll do for today, and then tomorrow we will be able to start, I'd like to say finish, but get a good way through this. It's not too bad. So on this side I have a wheelbarrow to make with lots of flowers. I also have a flower stand to make, a little pot, more flower pots, some greenery to put in here like we did at the bottom of this one, or at the top, but a little bit. A big plant going up and across the ceiling with lots of the dark green stuff like this, and that's all there is in this one, and then we put on the last panel, which doesn't really have any decoration to it at all, so that's quite straightforward in comparison. So quite happy how that looks, but this side is, just double checking myself, is finished. So we've got our first cube part done. So it's actually called a Rubik cube, this, so it's part of the Rubik cube series, probably because it opens more than one way, which is kind of cool. Anyway, quite happy with how this all looks. I think it looks actually very beautiful, to be honest, and I think that picture looks fine like that. Can't really, I mean, you can see a little bit where the break is if somebody really wanted to look, and this is how it looks when it's closed. So it kind of looks cool, other than light hanging down like this, but I think that'd be okay. That looks good. So that's where we have. Need to unglue that because obviously got glue on the edge there that wanted to stick onto this piece. We don't want that. Alright, so thank you very much for joining. Please do leave any comments. I will get back to you, or you can send me an email, and my email address is at the end. And like I say, I hope you're enjoying this build. I think it's really quite pretty. More detailed than I thought. As you'll know if you watched day one, I said it would be like maybe a 3-4 day build. No, not so much. So we're going to be going into day 5 tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a lot done. Maybe I'll start with the smaller stuff rather than the bigger stuff, and so we can get that all underway, or at least it drying, ready to go in. And that's where you will see the part that I broke quite badly and how I fixed it. So do take care of yourselves. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and take care everyone. Alright, bye bye now. Bye.